Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers presented by Subway. Game number one, that was the fastest back and forth I think I've ever seen. We went from all the way in the base of FlyQuest, then suddenly one pentakill later, we're in the base of Team Liquid, and it's FlyQuest who are taking the win. I mean, that's about as wild as it gets, Cubby.
The game was awesome. I give me 4 more of those, please. That was really fun. The fact that it came down to one fight, Sajed gets smokescreen, had to flash out of it, and then be in a kind of a tough position, just barely missed the reset, goes down, TLC almost takes the base of FLYC. Chime then pulls the wave as a Nautilus, and then the next fight, Sajed with no sums, snipes Keel like through 2 members, gets a reset, then gets a pentakill, and FLYC wins. That was crazy. Really close game from each of our teams, Kelsey, and now with Fearless Draft, we got a lot of champs missing for the next game.
Definitely some champs missing. Also, like, for TL to just give them props, they had better neutral setups in most situations, right? They had better control. FlyQuest kind of had to like play the low probability situations, right? They had to do the face checks. They had to have Viego kind of dance in and out and try to risk getting one and trading out. So if TL keep that up, then like circumstances say during a long best of 5, they'll be in a better position when fatigue sets in. So let's keep looking for them, even though FlyC had that explosive win.
I can honestly say I was pretty happy with a lot of the small moments that we saw from TLC. One you kept pulling up, kept talking about, Cubby, was the smoke screen that we saw out of Keel. Just small things like that led to Team Liquid actually taking some of these fights and making this a much more competitive game than it really did seem.
Yeah.
I think it still bodes well for Team Liquid in this series. I definitely think it's not over by far yet.
I know I look a bit distracted, but I'm actually going to try and pull up that clip on my screen so we can play it, as we have to virtual cam a few things in here. But yeah, I mean, that was massive. Like, I feel like that was a really big part of the game. And just like, that's how close these fights are really coming to. Yeah. Which, I mean, that makes it, again, very exciting for me.
And if you do get that up, though, just to set the stage a bit.
Oh, we got it.
We got it. Nice.
Yeah, good job, team.
Nice. Just to set the stage a bit, like TLC holding this line brush, sort of trying to bait FlyC in. Whenever you're baiting a Jinx comp to like walk into Fog of War, you're in a really good position to win a fight. So
yeah, and I mean, this fight was crazy because like Chime, the buffer, was really nice to find this, and then he isolates Keel. Quad gets some decent damage down. They find the chain onto Keel, but Jenkins does such a good job of buying space there. Now looking back, that was really nice. I know he goes down, but watch the smoke screen. It's right in the choke, nearsighted. Sajad can't auto. Keel barely lives. Shading can't get the reset either. That smoke screen was so clutch from Keel. That's what led to TLC. I was calling the game over there, Kelsey, and the fact that Chime was able to pull that wave as a support Nautilus, it was ballistic.
Yeah, I mean, that exchange there was insane. Also, you have Roamer with the Qs just like keeping anyone else from entering as they're killing Sajed, making it very difficult for like Shaden to sort of go for the hero low probability play there that we were talking about. And then of course Chime with the presence of mind. Like, you don't expect a Nautilus in this type of situation to save the game for you or to 1v5, but he just pulls the wave, gets under the bot inhib turret, and saves himself as well for when the rest of the team respawns. So
it was a great game. That was a really fun game.
He's still my MVP, you know, for that game one. But we'll see how he pans out for the rest of the series.
I mean, and we do have to set up for the next game, so let's pull up the champions that were picked, as this is Fearless. So it means if a team picks a champion, they cannot pick it. That specific team cannot pick it for the rest of the series. So some of the ones you were mentioning very early, we had that Jinx Nautilus pairing. Nautilus will no longer be able to be picked by FlyQuest for any more of the specific combos that they want to go for.
Yeah, so yeah, you just don't get it for the entire series. It's gonna be pretty tough. Kelsey, I know something that I've been talking to teams about specifically, with a lot of pieces missing. I expect a lot of teams to actually have Viego specific comps prepped. Like, if you just get a Viego and you're able to run resets, that's something that we've seen teams like Maryville do in game 3s. That's not gonna be an option for FlyC later on.
Yeah, and that's something that when I think of Shaden, I think of, you know, in case of emergency, break glass, pick Viego. So the fact that that's already off the board for them is very huge, but it is key that they won that game. By contrast, like, Talia has been a huge pick for TLC. they lost that game and they can't pick it again. So that's definitely something to think about as well, is like when you have these high importance picks for the individual players, you have to win the game when you get it, because you don't get a second chance.
Okay. I just want to bring back to that phrase you said, in case of emergency, break glass for Viego for Shaden. How many double-digit kills did he get that one season when he went on Viego tear? Was it 5 games in a row?
Oh, that was with Kelsey's team. That was the
EG
squad.
That was the EG Challengers when
that was the Sejuani flex.
Yes.
Yeah, the Sejuani flex.
Classic. Yeah, bro, it's okay. I mean, I think there was several times in comms where Shane was like, bro, I'm Bill Gates here, you know? I just so many games.
That's funny. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was great.
That was a fun one. I do want to return the draft real quick. We actually have 3 mid laners being banned out towards quad. And specifically that Talia being taken away. This is a pick that is very high priority. DL grabbed it in game 1. We have seen that if you take a pick, banning it, well, it's more mileage for you, right? Because you're banning away a champ that only the other team can pick. And something we were talking about, Kelsey, that I thought that FlyC would do is give Kalista away early, because it's a champ that they don't really play, that TLC plays well. And it's something where, I mean, TLC already showing they want to go for early dragon stacking here.
Yep, and key here, I think TLC banning the Talia, that's one of the best picks into the Kalista.
Yeah.
The other pick that is on the table is Poppy, and obviously Shaden is a very massive Poppy player, so nice to the Aphelios, obviously the pick, right? You get blue purple, you sit under tower, you don't get dove, but you are susceptible to the first crash die. And
Sajed is 3-0 on this pick, and he also saved a game for FlyC. Like, FlyC could have been in the lower bracket if it wasn't for Sajed's Aphelios. We flew a clip from him before game 1. There was another point in that game later on where he 1v4'd under a Nexus turret. Sajed, as you highlighted, Kelsey, is team fighting. The reason that he found himself on this FlyC roster, and we'll maybe get a chance to see it here, as Deserex, we've seen Keel answer Jack or Xin Zhao with Jax quite a bit. We expect that to be in his hands.
Yeah, so with that lock-in going over to TLC, Kill happy to grab that. I still want to see what's going to happen more in the bottom lane, as there are some pairings that work very well with Kalista to continue being as aggressive as you want to be down there for that dragon control. But it seems like the focus for TLC is to set up the top side of the map first as they grab both the Jax and the Croc.
There's no support grab, Kelsey. And also, I know something we were talking about is how flex picks are less valuable here in Fearless.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So Renekton just picked right away. You would expect maybe they'd hold the Renekton, but in my now when I see Xin Zhao and then the enemy picks Jax, I always just assume it's jungle anyway. So we are going to get a reverse of the matchup. I think the Renekton being so powerful at the moment and so high value is huge. So we'll see in TLC's hands this game and see how they do, because this should be a very strong early game topside for them.
Yeah, and specifically, like, I mean, I really like the Gragas pick here. I think it really thematically counters Jax and Renekton.
Yep.
But specifically, like, for flex picks just being less strong and Fearless, I mean, it is something where Jax can be played top and jungle right now. And especially if you are FlyC and you have Surdy as your top laner, who loves Jax top and has historically always played that pick really well, if you take it, it's now off the board for both people moving forward. So it is something that, of course, these teams are aware of. We're talking about Fearless a little bit more, as it's the first series that we have seen be a Fearless best of 5 here in NA for Challengers. And going to be curious to see as this has a bigger impact. I don't think it's had a huge impact so far in best of 3s, but best of 5s, game 4 and 5, I'm kind of excited to see what it looks like.
So as we take a look at what's been drafted so far, I mean, I'm looking at TLC and I see a lot of skirmish coming out from them, especially that dragon control we were talking about with Kalista. Got to see what gets banned away in that support pool. But I do like some of the responses coming out of FlyQuest so far. It does put a lot of pressure onto a ADC that is rather low range. You have to avoid this Gragas. You get caught by the explosive, and that's a done deal for the Kalista.
Interesting that they're banning some longer range mids here, because I see those top 3 low range champs, and I'm already thinking Cassiopeia for quad. So that's definitely something. If I mean, maybe not blind, but you're banning out long range champs that they can pick into it, right? And I mean, if I'm a huge Cassiopeia player, I'm already thinking like Cassiopeia is really high value there, but it is the Annie, so.
I gotta say, the 2 Nautilus answers were taken away by TLC, and I'm wondering if they decide to use their Nautilus game now. I think it's a really good game for Nautilus, given the Aphelios plus the Annie. But Nautilus, again, that is a very powerful support that we have seen in the global meta I think Not has, like, his win rate across the world is above 50% in that support role. He's very OP this split. Oh, Rover, the APA tech.
Nice.
Okay.
TLC special, man.
It's a good game for Ziggs, and we could see Chime dig deep. His set's something that Chime's always really specialized in.
Yep. Definitely the set support was a big terror in the TSM versus EG Game 5s. You know, we'll definitely throw that out there last year. But the Ziggs is huge. I mean, you have the one thing that I will be mindful of is Xin Zhao ult can cancel a lot of Ziggs' utilities. So a lot of pressure is going to be on Shaden to really help out his Aphelios so he doesn't get completely bombarded by the Ziggs AP damage.
And honestly, I do like the Ziggs and the fact that it gives some level of range. We're so short range on TLC right now. And an Annie Nagragas is just going to blow up that short range if it keeps drafting into that direction. As well as some scaling picked up on Fly's end, having the Renata hostile takeover. I feel like there's a lot of good answers coming out of FlyQuest.
Funnily enough, Kelsey, this is Chime's first Renata game all split. Something we know that he can play, but I think it's a good game for it. That said, I am a little bit worried about these Ziggs for FlyC because I think that like they have two immobile carries very vulnerable to Ziggs, and there are a lot of ways that TLC can wombo. So I think that Chime almost had to take the Renata to like at least buy some time or really make the wombo a lot harder. It kind of forces that not ult to go on one or the other. Like you have to follow that up. If Renata ult can answer afterwards, that can maybe buy a window where you can at least get whoever does eat the depth charge out.
All right. Well.
Also makes me wonder if they're just going to play the map because that was their advantage there. And I'll let you continue to set up the game, Eric.
It's game number 2. I got to keep asking the audience, man, who they want to root for because, I mean, with that game number 1, it could have gone either way. It was just so close. So I don't blame these votes for being so close. So who got this one? TLC for Team Liquid Challengers, FlyC for FlyQuest Challengers as we head into game number 2.
Well, we'll see for sure. There's a little bit of standing. Like we see the classic Nautilus walk forward, level 1 flash Q angle coming out, and they might be looking for a bit of bits, but Quad's playing that one safe.
I'm actually interested. We saw last game each of our junglers work top, but the focus ended up being more so around mid. I'm expecting mid focus again. Like if you are playing this Annie into Ziggs, I think you have to play to remove Ziggs' flash. Because if you let Ziggs just farm and scale, this champion does do absurd amounts of damage later on. And with the Annie, you at least have a way to pressure and play through mid.
And that's the thing, the amount of pressure a Ziggs that is fed puts is not just in the poke and all that, it's in the tower taking as well. That satchel will just destroy every structure that FlyQuest are looking to defend if Roamer's able to get going.
Ooh. I will say, Kelsey, we have mirrored clears at the moment, but it looks like Jax is going for the 3 camp towards bot, so potential for that timer you highlighted with Aphelios. TLC may be looking into pressure on that wave 3.
They have a very short window where they can actually make the dive happen at this point. I think with Renata it might be a little bit more difficult, but like if you manage to crash the wave with the Callista and they get low HP, but I see keep playing this one safe. They're probably not in the danger zone for getting dove yet.
I mean, Roamer did ward the Raptors, so they have info on where Shaden's at as well. So they're really playing to gather info to see if they want to make this play bot or not.
Yeah, and that ward did reveal that Shaden was clearing out those Raptors. So kills down there. Roamer is rotating towards his bottom side where his camps are available. So still, Shaden's going to be in the area, but Kill's looking for the contest.
Yeah, I don't think that they can contest this. This is an ideal scenario. We highlighted a bit how effective TLC have been with their early games, how that's really opened it up for them throughout the season. 3 lanes of prio so far. And then we're taking advantage of that, looking for the invade, looking to put Shaden down.
I will say, too, that I've been catching up on some LEC tape as I did join a podcast with Medic and Broxa, and I got to be able to talk to you folks about what's going on in their league. There's been a lot of Jax in the Xin over there, and this is actually pretty standard with that Jax, like level 3 can fight Xin. That Counter-Strike so strong and getting up in the face, and Keel going to continue the pressure.
I mean, the 3 talent strike, Counter-Strike blocks that no problem,
Yeah.
And Shaden forced away from his Gromp while TLC continue the bot lane pressure, Kelsey.
So, yeah, I mean, the other nice thing about this is that with this so much prio, his lanes can always rotate first. So even if, you know, he lost the 1v1 matchup, he'd still have that in his back pocket. But it does give Aphelios the ability to just stay competitive and farm, not be threatened under tower, clear the wave and get to a point where he's just undivable at a certain angle. So
just forcing poor Quad to take the long way back home. Chasing him for days. They saw Kill was in the area, so Quad wasn't going to risk anything. Did take the scrying plant and take his recall.
This has been a really good opener from Keel. I do want to credit Shaden, though. The one answer that you do have when you go for the double crab window like this is to take the respawn Raptors. So really like that Shaden got in here to take these. You can see Roamer trying to play defense and will not drop that to get enough info to spot Shaden. But that is the one answer that Shaden has, and Shaden was able to hit that window successfully.
And as the grubs and the dragon are coming up around 5:30, that's when mids hit level 6. And usually with any comps, you expect to see like the tibbers drop right away, force the enemy mid back at half HP and look for that. So since both of them have burn TPs, if FlyC do make that happen, despite being in a down state on the map, they might be able to walk away with a first dragon or some grubs.
It's a very nice hook coming out from Kim down. Punishes Chime, gets his flash and heal out.
I really like that Kelsey's highlighting this window, because if I'm FlyC after Raptors for Shaden, I'm looking hard mid. I'm burning flash and at least getting a flash out of Roamer. No matter what, you're going to get health advantage from Quad off the wave. And I like to answer that. I like the fact that TLC, they're on the grubs now. And with the Renekton being in the top side, that could be the difference maker here, Kelsey, to just make it so that there is no contest from FlyC.
We haven't dinged 6 yet for Annie either, so that window isn't available, right? So Keel taking advantage of that timer really, really well to just insta-start the grubs is excellent.
Yeah.
Level 6 did come out. See if we get anything off it.
Yeah, it seems like the call for FlyQuest is to start getting positioning over on the bottom side where Dragon is. They are aware that Keel has grabbed the Void Grubs, so some vision now being established by both Shaden and Chime.
Funnily enough, Keel actually didn't reset until then.
Yep. Roamer also making mid volatile, so yeah.
It's the way we like it.
Yep. I mean, as long as, like, I think that's kind of an aggressive window for him to make it volatile, because again, his jungler didn't reset and was on grubs, but the fact that he got away with it, really good, because now, I mean, TLC, as you highlighted, Kelsey, they draft 3 winning lanes, and with the no answer on the dragon during that window, this wave is going to bounce away now, or bounce into FlyC, and this should be another timer for TLC to take the dragon and get the first 2 neutrals.
Yep. As we do have Phage, which is like a huge itemization difference. Oh.
I thought there was more there, you know. It was only one tower shot from Jenkins.
Oh, maybe we do have some big croc energy. I don't know. What's going on, Jenkins? We're looking
no
forward to
ulti now for... Yeah, no ulti now for the Gragas, but...
For it. Here comes Tibbers, the chase onto Roamer. Dragon still hasn't been set up, so just getting Roamer out of this lane, being able to punish him, get some harassment damage going. All the meanwhile, Kill says, hey, you haven't taken the dragon yet? Well, I'm going to start it up now.
I think this is the one window, though, where Shading can maybe look top, Kelsey.
I think basically Roamer sort of low HP. He does have ult available, so he can kind of waddle up there to maybe stall out. Jenkins is going to have to TP back here, so it makes it a top visit a lot more higher value, but we'll see if Shaden just farms up and then plays for fights and good ulti execution. He's staying like relatively competitive in farm, so we'll see how it goes.
Taking a look at the map state right now. And so far, it's been TLC who are getting these small leads. Looking at the CS, I mean, a lot of that is naturally going to come, right? Winning lanes, so Roamer, Spawn, definitely winning out in the farm game so far. This does give TLC their windows of opportunity to continue to try and find their leads against FlyQuest, and they're looking for that.
Here comes a flash.
Over in the mid lane, it's going to be FlyQuest who want to get Roamer. Roamer doesn't have his flash. So if Shaden wants to advance on him to try and burn it out.
Ooh,
actually, this is a bad angle for Romer.
Oh
or
my
is
God.
it? Uses the satchel beautifully.
Yo, check
Nice
his
satchel
PC.
charge.
Is APA already there? Oh, yeah, that is really nice. Really nice from Romer, who, you know, this is a fun match. Again, we haven't talked about mid too much, but of course, these are two of our strongest laning mids. Both imports coming in this split. Quad, I think, was the one outside of lane that did end up getting the best of Romer in that last game, but Romer has been putting up some pretty good performance, especially in playoffs. Been a big part of why TLC finds themselves with a chance in the upper bracket to make the LCS stage.
Yeah, and Quad not reacting that well to the poke. This is basically his third base already. Like third or fourth base already. He's had to go back on timers. It felt like Shaden going mid there wasn't necessarily to make a gank work, but to make sure that Quad can get a good reset, can come back with lucidity boots and a bit of AP, you know? So not necessarily the perfect timer or the perfect thing you want to see in your heavy skirmish mid jungle duo.
That's
See
nice,
just
though.
how aggressive he is, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you do with Annie, and I will say that's a little bit further away from Grub spawning, but this is really how I want to see FlyC try to play this Annie. I would love to see Shaden go mid before Grubs come, as Grubs are going to be up in 10 seconds, and we do see Kim down making his way through mid. He'll be able to enter mostly safely, given the control ward that Romer did drop by this embankment brush, as now Kim will be spotted. Shaden just took the bot crab, and I still expect FlyC to make their way to Grubs. I think 6 Grubs could be really big for TLC in this Ziggs team.
Cubby, real quick, is that from the old radio podcast of LCS, the embankment brush?
Yes. Yeah. Fun fact, it is.
Nice.
It is. An embankment is a brush that borders a river at the end, so yeah.
And I like it.
Thank you,
Gives
TJ. Yeah.
gives a much more descriptive way to talk about the map here.
Yeah.
And headed back into things, you can see right now, Kill over on this top side
no
by the Void
contest, wow.
Grubs. We'll be able to grab that without any contest whatsoever. And I mean, look at the counter. We now have one at the top of your screen. That's going to be 6 Grubs going over to TLC.
As you and Beatdown, I think, called it Grubageddon.
Grubageddon.
He missed.
Oh, Romer gets taken down. It's actually Quad who's going to get first blood from this one. And all that pressure put onto Romer finally going to pay off for FlyQuest.
We've been talking about this mid-jungle 2v2 basically for the past 11 minutes. And it finally comes to fruition here. We get the stun off followed by the zings out. Not the cleanest follow-up. Doesn't land the initial engage, but ends up getting it through. And this is what we've kind of been waiting for them to do all series, because Ziggs should be really susceptible to ganks. He's pretty squishy. He pushes out. He does have the Satchel Charge for a bit of safety, but overall, you dive him. There's not a whole lot he can do except panic push all of his buttons and hope something lands, you know?
Yeah, for me, that actually came out a little bit late in terms of getting the Ziggs play, because I think it really is guaranteed with an Annie. As now, Romer will at least get this wave in, gets a plate for himself, and Quad not going to quite drop Tibbers yet, but there is a minute left until this Dragon will be the second spawn. Of course, TLC with the Callista comp would love to stack this up rather soon, but wondering if we see a bot play from FlyC to break this, as here we go.
Depth charge lands on the 2. Sajed is critically low, so he has to bail. Hostile takeover buys FlyQuest bot lane. A little bit of time, and it's the time that they needed to get out of this 2v2.
I mean, and look at the timer on the clock, right? Where you get a good reset out of TLC bot lane. Dragon's coming up. You have very good control here, and it feels like TLC just have the comp, have the setup to, okay, we're going to play 3 winning lanes. We're going to rotate around the map. We've got 6 to take towers. We're going to make sure we stack extremely early for Drakes. Oh.
Ooh, that burst is gnarly, man, but that's what an Annie be doing as Romer tries to bail. Oh, Kill shows up to save the mid lane, but Shaden, it's a mid laner for mid laner. Shaden doesn't want to take the jungle fight, though. Kim Down says, you have to, as Kill brings the lantern into the back of Shaden. Crescent Guard's going to be used for some protection. Scuttle Crab going to be a member of FlyQuest, as Shaden will get out.
Really well done to get out from Shaden, but this still should be the Dragon going over to TLC with Callista coming off a respawn, as we're going to see Quad a little bit of a game of cat and mouse here, as that B finds nothing in the brush, but Annie ends up dropping a bear on the other side of it. Romer gets very low. Of course, nice vision toggle from our observers to spot out that Keo wasn't spotted going into that brush. Quad had no idea, couldn't react in time, but the trade comes in, and props to Shaden on getting out of this, Kelsey, because I think that's nice.
Yeah.
They saved themselves some gold here.
I mean, the ulti timing, very good. Waits until basically a lot of cooldowns are used. Interrupts any follow-up that could happen. You do have to love the minefield coming out. When you're the Annie in that situation, you're thinking, this is definitely scary, you know? I should not be walking through this, but they come out with the great follow-up and an interesting kill back for both sides.
I also want to credit Spawn and Kim down even with like the start of that play. I know they didn't find kills on bot, but that was a blue-purple Aphelios setup with your jungler running bot. I think that if Xin was able to get there in time, that's where you look for plays onto the Kalista lane. The fact that him and Spawn went in at that timer and Shaden wasn't there, that's what created the health bar advantage for them to then really get the wave in. They based Kalista, came back, got this second dragon now on their shoulders, and TLC are still hitting their win cons, given some of the timers that they're taking as a team.
Yep, really they're definitely keeping pressure up 3 lanes.
This really does feel like a battle of the mid jungle, as all our action has pretty much just been focused over there. A kill going out to Shaden and Quad respectively. It's Romer who has been the victim of a lot of these. Now Kim down might be in the same situation. Out comes Tibbers, but it's a Fate's call that's going to get Kim down to safety.
I don't like the Tibbers burn there, Kels. I think you just Q-stun.
Yeah, and I think you can just run in. It's the easy point and click, and then you force out the Fate's call anyway, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's now a free rift for TLC. Renekton still has pressure up on the top side. We saw this matchup last game. Surdy is scaling into it with the Sunfire Cave, and very similar path to what Jenkins went for against Rex, but it's still all TLC.
And it's not just Rift Herald. This is a Rift Herald with 6 grubs on top of it. So we got Grubageddon. This is so much tower-taking potential and a Ziggs, man.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want on your team comp, no? Like, you're getting dragon stacking, you're pressuring all 3 lanes, you have multiple plates taken already. You have to keep this pressure up, and the gold lead, it's not quite reflected, right? Props to FlyC, but it feels very oppressive probably in the game to play when you can't see that gold differential for FlyQuest.
Did Jenkins just hit that wave so that if he bases, it comes into him early? Like, that wave would now be delayed. I know Surdy's like gonna break it, but I haven't really seen that. It's like he got scared to actually dirty farm that one, and instead it looks like TLC's bot lane was basing, so Jenkins had to sack that and actually match the rotation. So we're now gonna have a swap of lanes as Kalista and Nautilus are sent to the top side. A little bit curious. I mean, it's dead time on the map, Kelsey, but it seems like TLC at least trying to force FlyC to respond.
I think this is kind of the swap situation that we talked about before. It's like if you have double prio in top and bot, you always have this kind of swap scenario to throw the enemy team off.
It's a bit awkward
to force them to react to you. So
they had Annie into Renekton on the bot side. I don't think you can kill the Gragas top, so Surdy's fine here. But in theory, Annie could be really vulnerable if TLC were to rotate. At the moment, though, lanes are. At least the action is towards the top side where, I think Gragas is going to be able to neutralize all this. So I think TLC actually could have used this window a little bit stronger if they went elsewhere.
Yeah, it is very strange, too, because the most awkward lane assignment for FlyC is actually the mid one. You have Ziggs into Aphelios, which...
Ooh, the focus might be onto this tower. Surdy looking to turn this around as the hostile takeover comes out through the wall. Ooh, Shelly's going to crash into the tower, and now the fight over by the choke point. Jenkins wants to take it to Quad, but Sajed returns fire, and bailed out is going to be Quad. The tower goes down. Shaden looking to hunt kill. No Counter-Strike available, but the hook is from Kim down. Crescent Guard goes up, and now going to defend the jungler from any of that damage. Kim down still not in the best situation. Neither is Romer as he tries to use the satchel to create some distance. Wind becomes lightning. You felt the breath on the back of Romer. And the fight going to come to an end as Jenkins falls.
That was a great momentum killer coming out in the minefield, because as we watch this fight happen, right, you have Surdy stalling out the crash, keeping the wave more or less off the tower until it comes in, but in this tri-brush is where most of the action is happening. Jenkins is trying to stop the rest of FlyC joining. Very clutch bailout coming out from Chime to make sure that all members of FlyC stay up here. Really, just basically FlyQuest using all of their abilities at a very great time, because you also have the Xin Zhao ulti bearing flush, and the only reason that wasn't a mowdown...
Quad. Quad's in the worst spot to be. The bailout's not going to save him. And now Jenkins wants to continue. Shaden will have to burn his flash, and with 15 seconds left on the Dragon, TLC are in prime position to give them Dragon Soul Point.
There's no way FlyC can walk in as Quad gets caught. And that last replay, we saw Quad, like, able to almost turn the fight. Is now Keo trying to turn it.
Yeah, stun with the counter-strike. Surdy now in a bad position. Doesn't have anything left to escape this. The bailout goes up, but who you gonna kill? Spawn will take him down.
Ow.
Yeah, I mean, this
great.
is all TLC.
Absolutely.
And it's hook after hook after hook. Tower goes down, able to ensure that with the Ziggs. Now Jenkins running some interference, sends FlyQuest to the hills.
This is 18 minutes soul point right here for TLC, and they're just keeping up the tempo, keeping up the control. Oh. This is North America, by the way. You guys are not tuning in to LPL or some other league. We're keeping up the tempo. We're trying to constantly take the fight on the enemy on our terms, and this is we're coming in for. Quad's just kind of he's here for vision, moral support.
What's this lost child doing in the river?
I mean, that was an awkward start. Quad was immediately removed, and so there's really no fight for FlyC, but I think TLC ended up getting a lot off that. Like, yeah, they get the third Drake, but taking away mid-outer 2 is going to make it a lot easier to set up for a potential Baron. And with Callista, that 50-50 kind of becomes a 55-45. So TLC can really try and push the pace of the game in the next couple minutes.
It's actually quite incredible how much control the map TLC has had in this early game. This has been a very successful early game. They got all 6 grubs. They've gotten every Drake in the game thus far. I mean, you couldn't really ask for more from TLC right now. 3K lead coming out for them. Aaron just going to spawn. It's FlyQuest who are fighting on the back foot.
And FlyQuest does have some tools where they can kind of equalize this a bit, but they have to get into a good position where TLC are coming into them. If they try to chase into TLC, they're going to get hit by the Ziggs minefield and have to run through it. But if TLC are engaging into them, they have the Renata ult. They have a Fearless who reacts very well in short range situations. They have the Gragas for disengage and re-engage, and of course the Crescent Strike. Their comp is saying, fight me, fight me, fight me, but they have to be in a situation where they're not choked out, where they're fighting together, and they can hold their position.
Kind of curious as we take inventory for a potential Baron. We have it looks like we're skipping Fimbulwinter as 30. We're going to delay that for a Frozen Heart coming in. I mean, it makes sense to me, given all the auto attackers that is necessary, but it does make Roamer all the more important in this game because he can deal a lot of damage to this Gragas, and I think the game plan for FlyC really is going to be, we have to execute these fights onto Roamer. As Quad even picks up a Shirelius here as the on the Annie, they're really trying and close the gap and get to the Ziggs.
I love that so much. We're just full on sending it as fast as we can to drop Tibbers and take them health points. As right now, TLC still on the map. Now they're going to take another tower over in the bottom lane. It's Jenkins who splits for that. It's still more gold going over as now it's 3-0 in towers for TLC.
We do see FlyQuest taking control of this Baron area, kind of the way that they did. They are thinking, reassessing, maybe trying to see if they can get a TLC face check coming out. Obviously, Aphelios does do the Baron relatively quickly, so they have some of that threat as long as they're not showing.
See, still FlyQuest are towards the mid lane right now. They're kind of juggling both between mid and the Baron, and they have some pretty strong vision established over on that side of the map at the current moment. 2 control wards now going to be taken away as TLC start fighting for vision control of the Baron.
TLC still have control everywhere. I think that FlyC almost have to use this take of like the Baron side. They almost, like, you can see they're resetting now. They're just kind of betting like, hey, TLC's not going to hit this. We can at least use this to reset, try and retake vision. But the real question is, I mean, we're a minute 40 away from Soul spawning for TLC. Callista, you want to stack up those dragons quick, because Callista, you're very strong at the earlier points of the game. Not so much as the game goes on. They can get a little bit harder to auto attack. When do we see the teams really start to shift their priority towards Baron? And how willing is TLC to tease a Baron to maybe pull FlyC off the Dragon 2? A couple things we're going to be looking out for in the next series of plays.
And sometimes when you're on the back foot as FlyC in this situation, and again, you feel probably more behind even than you are, you'll probably be in a situation where you're thinking you don't really have a choice. If TLC choose to go for the soul, your best bet is to really hard tunnel on the Baron and see if you can bait them off, right? That's a lot of times you'll see teams down against a soul point team just rush and pull the Baron to try to forestall the inevitable, or at least try to get something good in exchange for the soul.
That might be the move
Jenkins is now spotted.
They want to get away with this one, but Jenkins is now coming in the flank. It's 4 members of FlyQuest in the mid lane. Quad's going to be showing up a little bit late here. Jenkins flashes in, goes after Sachet, gets cleansed away. Shaden turns his attention onto the Gator, and the Croc's not going to be long for this world. A couple more bonks on the back of the head, but no, he'll get his distance. Now jumping in's Kim down. Oh, he will give his life for the cause. Jenkins is still up. Surdy has to flash over the wall to stay alive, and Blue Buff wants his number. He'll take the long way around, but FlyQuest, they will still pick up 1 kill and Kim down.
Surdy has TP, though, and that's massive. I love the turn that FlyC has, the conviction from them again to go straight onto Jenkins. Yes, he gets out, but now it's a 4v5 for the Dragon Soul. Can FlyC get back in?
They got to be quick. Surdy's walking up. You also have Shaden on the other end.
He's not gonna
when he becomes lightning, he's looking to grab it, but no! Dragon Soul goes over to TLC. The fight looking to go the way of FlyQuest as Jenkins still in there. Spawn will take down the jungler. Surdy's looking to bail. Kill wants to bring the pain. A double kill secured by Spawn. A triple kill picked up by Spawn. And they want to hunt down this Annie. They want to slow down this Annie, but Quad's got enough movement speed. It's TLC who get the Dragon Soul.
An absolutely just decisive play off of that effectively one fight. You saw FlyQuest really making it competitive, but the Croc would not go down. They immediately went and they turned on the Dragon. They had the Callisto Ren stacks. There was Roamer pelting them with bombs. You know, you had Kim down zoning the angle, so there was just no way for them to get into that Dragon pit effectively. They get the Dragon, they rotate for the Baron, and this might just be them in position to take the entire game.
I mean, really the fight from FlyC, they burned all their ults to take down Kim down and nearly take down Jenkins. I was talking about how Surdy got out and they would have had numbers, but there was no way to get onto Spawn in that fight later on. Shaden's gonna flip.
He's trying for the steal right now. 16k health remains. He might get the opportunity to go through this. He gets the steal on the Baron. What felt like a hang time of minutes. Shaden, calm, composed, grabs the Baron.
And we've seen FlyQuest Challengers win from positions like this. Baron steals into Aphelios 1v4 defense on base turrets. You know, this could be a deja vu situation from their AoE Challenger series. So we just have to see if TLC can keep it together and play it out.
Well, it's got the angle in, but got to be careful onto this. Kill takes a lot of damage, getting chased down by Sachet. Sachet's still able to grab one. So Kill will fall. One of the Baron buffs now taken off the map as TLC going to bail out. Actually, FlyQuest to grab that Baron. Let's take another look at how they got it.
I mean, you can really tell that FlyC feels like they're out of this game. The fact that Shaden just even goes for this play. The 1v4, he's like, if we don't get the Baron, the game's over, so might as well send it. This fight comes in. I thought I saw 26 after the kill smite, so he misses it by half an auto, and Shaden picks it up with an auto. Now FlyC, I mean, it's at least a little bit of a power play to get some gold back in their pockets, Kelsey. And that does matter. Yeah. They are down a soul, but Aphelios scales really well if he can't be dealt with in these games.
Yeah, and they, like I said, they still have the tools within their composition to deal with TLC coming into them. They still can turn situations where TLC are the aggressors. And if you look at the way the game's been playing out, TLC are the aggressors, so they just have to naturally answer that.
Yeah, I also like a Fimbulwinter coming in, Deserex. If that happens, like for Surdy, that's a item that's a really big power spike, especially being evolved once Surdy's able to complete it. He's 1,200 gold away from that. It looks like Shaden skipped over Frozen Hearts. There was already one on the team, so he went Randuin's, which I like. But that's a bit interesting, as he now just has a Glacial sitting in there. Do we see like a Zeke's Convergence now for Xin? I don't think Shaden meant to do that. I think it was a little bit of miscommunication there on the FlyC side. I'm curious what happens with that item.
No, it might have been, but nonetheless, it still gives you this front line for Sajed. And that's what you want the most. You want to protect this Aphelios, who now has 3 items. It's definitely going to be a big target that TLC are going to look to execute.
I will say, though, with all this armor effectively coming out, right, you
Yeah.
The Frozen Heart, the Rhino is being prioritized. Ziggs is still the big wrench in the FlyQuest system. I keep talking about how FlyQuest can turn fights, but as soon as they turn and they try to aggress, you have so much zone control coming out from Roamer. He's going to make you really low pelting the bombs. He's the one long-range character that they have to deal with, and the natural Aphelios weakness is the low MR values that Ziggs can easily take advantage of. So this is definitely a situation where it feels like it is a Roamer v Sajed situation. So we'll see how the game plays out from there.
And honestly, a huge opportunity for Roamer to continue to step up because, we've all been singing the praises of Roamer, but also recognizing that, hey, if there is a weakness in this guy's play, it is how he's able to play and rotate around the map. And then also team fights where we favored FlyC overall in the TLC coming into this. So I think Roamer so far has had a really nice game on the Ziggs, but yeah, he is going to be the full focus of FlyC as they're stacking armor because their goal is to remove the only source of magic damage at the start of the fight and then play the fight out from there.
Yep. Makes perfect sense, right? Yeah, kill the magic damage. You don't have to worry about the magic damage.
Yeah.
But I mean, Roamer, if he does stay up, that Leandri's is definitely going to work overtime. You get such short cooldowns onto the Ziggs. You're throwing Qs, renewing the burns, getting the damage going. It's pivotal to take down Roamer for these fights to go the way of FlyQuest.
Well, we'll see if they can get the targeting, which we have praised the FlyQuest Challengers targeting in these games, so it looks like there's a collapse.
Oh.
Yeah, they're going for Jenkins once again. Slice and Dice gets Jenkins out, but Explosive Cast pulls him right back in. He's stunned up, another Q to heal, but it's not enough to withstand this barrage. FlyQuest able to pick off the top.
And they do get that, but also look at Roamer on the map. He's pushing, getting a turret for this. Let's see if TLC can forestall the wrap around. He does have Satchel Charge.
FlyC are going to be careful about this, though, because they have a 20-second window where Elder will be on the map and Jenkins will not. He has TP when he respawns, but FlyC can fade in the fog and maybe force Roamer and TLC to overextend. I still think they need to execute Roamer in these fights. Any turn from FlyC will be onto him.
Flash available for quad. Tibber is now just timing out, but it's almost coming off cooldown, so this is going to give an angle for quad to come in. If they wait a few more seconds, still holding on to that stun as Elder Drake has been pulled.
How much control can Surdy have here?
Yeah.
Ooh, pulling him in. Chime is down, going unstoppable. Is going to be Spawn. Now Sajed. He can't do anything for this fight. Spawn just flashes right into his face, and FlyQuest get their wings clipped. So does the Elder. And it's going to be a team fight win for TLC, but FlyQuest are able to sneak the Elder.
Yeah, I mean, FlyQuest took the Elder, but look at the death timers. This could be another game attempt, right? I don't think we even have a Nautilus up for a miracle wave pull. Like, this could be an easy slam dunk close for TLC here.
Chime died with everything up, and the execute onto Roamer was just off by a little bit. The Surdy combo was a little bit behind the Tibbers from Quad, and that's really the only window that TLC needed to take this game.
5 strong standing in the base of FlyQuest, and they're going to take this to a series. TLC in playoffs, they mean business.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I mean, credit to them for sure. We're praising FlyC team fights this entire game, but what ends up winning out for us, right? What ends up being the winning moment for TLC? Keel in the Baron Pit, Chime taken down early, Surdy not being able to body block effectively for the rest of the fight, so basically, TLC taking advantage of their gold lead, making sure that Spawn can free hit here is really massive.
Yeah, and just watch the combo that Quad puts down. I mean, first off, Chime, he ends up going down in this. Good hook from Kim down. And the over-the-top damage from the Ziggs makes it really tough for Sajed. The blue ult goes wide. The combo onto Roamer, he was just barely able to flash out. And when Ziggs is able to play out the fight like that, well, it made a lot of space for Spawn to clean up. So, really well done by TLC.
Pretty gnarly quadra kill coming out right there at the very end of it. But I mean, TLC, this is the team that we were expecting to be able to put up a fight with FlyQuest. They're not going to go down in a whimper. They want to take this to a series, and that's exactly what's happening right now. We're going to throw it over a short break. When we return, we'll get into game number 3. All that's left is basically a best of 3, so you're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back. Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Before this guy won this, he actually won this. And now these guys, they're trying to do the same.
He's looking for the killer instinct. He's going in. He finds 2. He finds 3.
Basu, you are utterly ridiculous. This guy is also trying to do what that guy did. And he didn't win one of those, but he did win this.
Welcome to the new era. A toast to our champions, Disguise.
This guy played one split of LCS and then made semis at Worlds.
It's been a long journey, but I'm happy to be here now.
He's always been really good, but he finally made the comeback. Oh, and he did it with this guy. This guy won Academy, and he had some dreams.
I want to be like the best NA mid laner to go to Worlds, right?
Dokla, however, very, very low. Reinforced by the Senna ultimate, and the Pop Blossom is so awesome!
This kid? Yeah, this kid. He actually didn't win an Academy, but a lot of people thought he was good, and boy, were they right. This guy made Worlds his very first year as a player. It took him a while to get back. He even played with this kid. But then, they did all of this together.
Nobody thought they'd win LCS! Nobody thought they'd beat G2! It's time to change your minds!
You know all of these names, but do you know the names of who's next? The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers League.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.